Hi everyone, well a slightly different video today. I've had quite a few people asking what rig I have essentially, what equipment I'm using, and instead of just writing out a massive list because it's kind of a bit boring, I thought I'd just show you around the setup that I have and some of the pedals and stuff like that. Hopefully it might be of interest to you if you like some of the kind of crunchier sounds that we're getting on the channel. So I'll turn this bad boy around and show you what the setup is packing. Not a very steady camera hand. No, I think I'll be all right here. So anyway, well, let's start off with the amplifier setup. You'll see there's a lot of stuff on the top because I'm always tinkering about and got millions of picks here, there and everywhere. But I suppose we better start off with the amp itself, which is, as you can see, the JCM 25/50 model 2555, although I think technically it's called the 2555X. I don't know why it doesn't say that on there, but anyway. Love the old signature on the end there. And the settings that I have, just so you know, go like this. So we've got the old presence, what's this here, about 7-ish. Bass, you can see, is about 5. Middle, again, 7. The output master is something that you need to decide on based on your space that you're in. The lead master is there as well, in at 3, and then you've got the input gain. The way this amp works is that you can pull out one of the switches and it kind of, here you go, pull rhythm clip, and it changes you to a different input there. You've got a different sort of level of volume which you can use, and basically how I use that is I've got a little foot switcher here which goes between those two channels, so you'd have it on and off. And when you press that, it essentially goes from my ripping overdrive sound to a much quieter, more chilled out vibe. So that's a little foot pedal that does that, plugging in directly into the back of this amp. But those are my settings. I've just sort of played around for a long time and decided that they're the best, but I'll write them out for you properly so you can see. The actual amp itself is a Marshall. It's a 1936 lead, but I think that they're all pretty similar sounding, to be totally honest with you. The way I capture the sound is through this Shure microphone, the SM57, which looks a bit dusty on that picture. Have it pretty close to the amp, to be honest with you, and that hooks into this little studio mixing desk here, and I usually have it about that level, just so you know. All plugs into the laptop. Got a little webcam here, got the lights going as well. Don't normally have the ceiling lights on, actually. This is the pedal board, which I've just whapped on for you. And the wah pedal, which is the Slash Crybaby, I think it's called. I think I'll put a little link up for it. It's pretty good, although when you get it, and I still haven't really got the sweet spot right, you've got to take it apart and adjust the way that the internal mechanism is sort of lining up the cogs. The perfect sound for me at the moment is when the pedal is really rocked back at about this level, whereas obviously you naturally want to play it more towards the top end. So I'm actually going to have a little fiddle around soon and try and just adjust that wah a little bit more centrally, because it sounds very harsh sometimes in a couple of videos I did recently, the Sweet Child of Mine one especially. This is the pedal board, which I've just designed myself because I have no electrical engineering experience. All the cables are hidden underneath, and also just note that these pedals are in a position that I like them, rather than electronically them being in this order. Underneath it's a right mess, but this is where I like to have the pedals positioned for my own benefit. You've got a couple that I would say, if you're trying to buy an early doors setup for your guitar, just do not bother with at all. This noise suppressor is on, but it doesn't really do anything, to be totally honest with you. Like this EQ pedal, I don't actually really use it. I'm just kind of saving it for the future once I decide to mess about with it, but it's never switched on at all. So just bear that in mind. It's bypassed essentially by the button not being on. The reverb I use occasionally, and the digital delay for things like Welcome to the Jungle and Slither, pretty cool. The reverb on things like Angry from the Rolling Stones, it's a nice sound. Those are the settings that I use for the old reverb. That one is selected to Hall, I think it looks like it is there, from what I can see. and then that's the time, tone and E level. That's actually a very good setting for Welcome to the Jungle. And these pedals, these two here, are in the effects loops. They're totally in the back part of the amp. You can see many cables down there. The effects pedals are looped to some of them at the back, whereas the signal chain for everything else, you've got the wah kind of pretty close to being up front. The wah plugs into the amp there, spins around and comes into here. And then it sort of continues down the chain. I've got the tuner here, Poly Tune 3, which is pretty good. I think it's about 100 quid. Not the best ever, but it kind of gets it pretty well in tune quite quickly. That's the foot switcher that I've explained, which takes you from the kind of clean sound to the crunchy overdrive, which is really cool. This one I don't really use. This is for like a live situation where you would boost to cut through the band a little bit more if you're doing a solo. But because I tend to play on my own, I don't need that. And this one is for Paradise City and the intro to that, and also a little bit of Sweet Child of Mine, some of the chorus sounds. It sounds really, really nice, this one. I would very much highly recommend it with these settings here. And if we take a peek at the sins beneath, I actually daren't do it really, to be honest with you. But if you have a look under there, it's just like all the cables hiding. In fact, it's making me feel stressed, so don't worry about what's under there. Got a little power cable at the back. That's only to extend out this board if I need to move it further away from the wall. Same with the wah pedal, you can sort of extend that out if you so choose. I don't bother putting the overdrive setting on this one really. You can press this button in the side and it gives it a bit more, but I find that this wah is enough just on its own, so it kind of ignores those side settings there. And that's kind of it. Guitar wise, I've got this little Blackbird Tanglewood at the moment, which is okay as an acoustic. I'm thinking of upgrading it soon. I'll do some full reviews of the guitars if you guys are interested in seeing what they are. It's all right. It looks nice. Plays okay. Electroacoustic. It's on the smaller side. Got a little tuner on the side there as well. And it's yeah, it's kind of Gibson-esque, so that's why I like it. With the old slash strap there. Leave the old capo on the top. These are my babies though, obviously. We've got my favourite guitar of all time, the first one that I could afford when I earned enough money, the Gibson Les Paul Blueberry Burst, which I think is from 2020, this model. It's very clever because it has lots of pull-out options. When you're switching your volume and tone, you can do very clever things with phasing if you pull them out. I don't tend to mess around with it too much. But I would say this is my sort of number one guitar, which I use in standard tuning. So everything you see on the channel in standard tuning will be this blue one. So that's the Blueberry Burst Gibson Les Paul 2020 model, I believe. This one is the Slash Gibson Les Paul Anaconda Burst, which I've played to death. Tiny little dent in it somewhere. Where's that little dent? You can't really see. There he is, because I've been smashing it about a bit with this pretty sweet Jimi Hendrix strap. Look, it's been well used, let's say that. I think our rabbit actually ate some of the strap there, to be honest with you, so I think that's what's going on. But this has got the exposed pickups compared to this one, and actually the Vermillion one has the same, which means it's a lot more aggressive. And I always use this one in E-flat tuning because it's a genuine Slash model guitar. A lot of Guns N' Roses stuff is in E-flat, so I just use this one for that purpose. I think it's pretty sweet. I've done a few customizations on this one, so I mean, change the little cosmetic things like that, the pick guards, different colour, I think they're cream. Even changed this little thing over here because I just didn't like how it originally came. So that's pretty sweet. This one's got locking tuners, by the way, on the back, whereas this one doesn't. I was going to change them over, but actually I decided just to leave it put, really. This one, though, is the Vermillion Burst Slash model. So it's basically the same idea as the Anaconda, but it's just red. I've, chosen some custom volume controls, which I think are pretty sweet. That's really the only modification I've done. No lockers on that either. Could change them over, I suppose. The annoying thing about this is when I changed over these volume things, I hadn't done it for such a long time that I thought, oh, I'll just get a little, you know, one of these tools and lever them out. And if you actually look under here, you can't really see it, but I managed to chip the frickin' paintwork, man. That's why I made that video about how to change your volume knobs without massively chipping your paintwork. So that's the setup we've got going on, where we kind of record all the videos like this. Tend to sit on one of these chairs here, or stand up with the wah pedal there. Just kind of let it rip, really. If you want more details on the pedals, if you want some examples, just let me know in the comments and I'll play them for you, show you the settings. You can hear them in some of the videos we've got going anyway. You've got, you know, the analog chorus is used in Sweet Child of Mine. You've got the delay, which I haven't used in a proper video yet, actually, but sounds really good. Reverb is on Angry from the Rolling Stones. That switcher gets used in anything that I'm changing from kind of epic, hard sound to very soft, chilled playing. And then, like I say, the other ones don't really get used at the moment. This one's also in the effects loop. But like I say, noise suppressor doesn't get used too much. And that's it, really. So, hope you enjoyed that little tour around. Getting you back this way. I use this little clip mic, by the way, which is really, really, really good. It's about 100 quid. I'll put a little description up for that because it's one of the best little mics that I've found anywhere. You can just use it to record acoustically on its own and it almost sounds pretty excellent. So that's a little rig rundown. Any questions, let me know there and I'll hit you back and let you know what I'm up to. Oh, the strings I use, by the way, are nines. I'll put a little link to that too. I like them super light, so there we go.